Alright, so today we're starting off with booklet A, practice paper 2. Mei Feng bought 2 rabbits last year. This year she observed there were 6 more young rabbits. So looking at this, alright, we know that the topic that is being tested is actually on classification of living things, or specifically, so topic is actually classification. Concept would be your characteristics of living things. So we know that, alright, some of the characteristics include things like living things need air, food and water to survive. Living things grow. Living things die. Living things reproduce. Okay? So in this case, which of the characteristics does it show? It actually shows reproduce. Okay? So I'm just going to very quickly pen down the characteristics of living things. Okay, so they are able to reproduce. They need air, food, and water to survive. They are able to grow. Okay, they can die. Okay, and respond to changes. Well done. Moving on in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Same thing again. This time round, they're testing you on characteristics of insects. How do you classify an insect? Okay, so we know that some of the characteristics include 3 body parts or body segments, feelers, and then after that you've got 6 legs. So this is how you know that an organism is actually an insect. Alright? So, praying mantis, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 legs, 2 feelers, and 3 body segments. Where are the 3 body segments? You have your head, thorax, and abdomen. 3 parts. Same with your katua. Okay, or xiao qiang they call it. Center body, then the head here, and then the abdomen is here. Very disgusting, very smelly one, don't like them. Okay, so your answer will be the odd one out was which one? Okay, spider, number 3. This is not an insect. Now, number 3, the diagram below shows a door handle. Metal is used to make the door handle because metal. Okay, now to do this, you need to ask yourself, what is the purpose of the door handle? Now, what do I mean by that? There can be many characteristics of a metal or of a material, but they are not useful for the purpose. For example, we know that metal, okay, is a good conductor of heat. It is a good electrical conductor. It is shiny. Okay, so there are many other characteristics. It is also strong, but which of these characteristics is useful for the purpose? So in this case, you want it to become a door handle. If you ask me, out of the 4, it can reflect light. Not quite. It does not break easily. Yes, possible, but let's take a look. It can bend without breaking. Okay. Yes, that is also true. Oh no, sorry, not true. My apologies. Okay. It does not allow light to pass through. I mean, that's true, but it's not useful in this case. Now, if you ask me, right, the option 2 and 3 actually looks pretty similar, but they mean different things. Now, do you want your handle to bend?
No.
Exactly. So, because you do not want your handle to bend, so you don't even want that to be part of the answer. It doesn't make sense for your handle to bend. So the answer between 2 and 3 is obviously 2. It does not break easily. Now, why do you need this? Because you think about it, the handle is basically something that people pull on it or push on it many times in a day. So if it breaks easily, then that's it. Alright, think of the number of times someone is going to open and close the door in a day. Multiply that by 365 days. And then multiply that by number of years the door needs to withstand. Okay? Now, which of the following is not a matter? So, once again, matter needs to have 2 things. Occupy space, as well as has a mass. Okay, I'm just going to quickly run through. So, check each of these. Air got occupy space or not?
Yes.
Okay, as long as one of these criteria is there, it's a yes already. Okay, sand is a matter, yes, because it occupies space and has a mass. Water, similar. The only one that doesn't is your shadow. Okay? Next. Now, so this is a beam balance. So a beam balance, just in case you don't know, this is a beam balance. So a beam balance, right, basically when it's horizontal, shows that both objects have the same mass. So a beam balance actually measures mass or shows mass. Now sometimes it doesn't really measure because it doesn't give a definite number. It's more of showing, okay, which item has a heavier or lighter mass. So in this case, do you see it tilting to one side? No. So this means that both objects have the same mass. So like I say, your beam balance shows mass or measure mass. So answer 2. Very straightforward. Okay. So far this paper is looking to be very simple. Yeah.
And the back is not.
Okay, the diagram below shows a plant. Which part 1, 2, 3 or 4 is the stem? 3. Straightforward. Just in case some of you don't know, this is the leaf, this is a flower, and these are the roots. Now, you will also need to know what is the function of each of these 4 parts. So, do you need me to go through? I think better go through. Okay, so your leaf in general, your leaf cells, right, is used for making food or photosynthesis. Your flower is for reproduction. Your stem is to hold, this is important, hold the plant or the leaves upright. Yes. 2. Okay, for the quiet, for the leaves to receive maximum amount of sunlight. So this is very important. And then your roots, right, absorbs. Good. Not just water. Water and dissolve. Yes, the word dissolve needs to be there. Okay, yes, and also firmly holds the plant to the ground. That's one other important function. Yes, being wrong. Receive maximum. Moving on in 10, 9, firmly to the ground. I said that already. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Next, which part of the digestive system is water from undigested food absorbed into the bloodstream? Large intestine. Okay, very straightforward. So you need to memorize what is the function. So I'm not even going to go through this because in paper 1, I've already gone through all the functions of the different parts. Okay, we move a little bit faster. Now, which part of the following is a source of light? Okay, so a lit lamp. Alright, straightforward. Next, question 9. Which of the following is not a source of heat? A woolen cap. Very good. Okay, the rest they all give out heat. Yes, and light. Usually they come together, but there are things that has heat and no light. For example, like a hair dryer, it's got heat but no light. Okay, just beware. Now, which of the following shows the correct order of stages of growth? Obviously, it starts off as a seed. Then after that, it starts germinating. You have your roots coming out over here. And then very soon, your roots grow a little bit stronger and deeper. Finally, you got a young seedling. So answer would be Q, S, P, R, number 4. Now, this kind of question, I tell you, it may look very simple, but in exam time, the reason why you don't get full marks is due to this kind of question. Why? Too easy already. So when you, no, seriously, so you get complacent, and then when you select wrongly. So it's very important to be careful. Okay?
Okay.
Next. At the zoo, Mutu saw an animal that he had never seen before. He read the information board of that animal and made some notes. Based on the information above, which group of animals does this animal belong to? So, so the fact that it has beak, has feathers, lay eggs, and yes, and wings, you know that it is actually a bird. Okay, so these are characteristics of a bird. Okay, so answer 1, straightforward. So let's revise on some of those that we don't quite see commonly. So reptile, we've got scales as outer covering. Okay, they lay eggs. Alright, and they're cold-blooded. Anything else that I miss out?
No.
Okay. So for your mammals, they got hair or fur as outer covering. We feed the young with milk. Give birth to young alive. And warm-blooded. So these are the characteristics. So these are the characteristics that you need to know. Alright? Job, have you finished copying? Alright, moving on in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, flowchart once again. Okay, so this is on living things. So can it move from place to place on its own, yes, is A. Okay, so we can always check. So when it comes to flowchart, right, once again, look from option to option, and then after that, go by column. So I'm going to look at option 1 first, column A, bracket fungi. So the first question that we ask is, can it move on its own? A can. Can your bracket fungi move?
No.
No. So straight away cross it out. Okay, wrong. The whole thing blank out already. Then look at the next one. Option 2, lion. Can it move on its own? Yes. So option 3, yes also. Option 4, bracket fungi, cross out. So like that, you already narrow down to 2 options. Next, look at option 2B. So it tells you that B cannot move on its own, and does it make its own food? No. Does your mushroom make its own food?
No.
So it's correct. No. But your rose can make own food, right? There are leaves. So wrong. So straight away cross out number 3. Now check for C and D to make sure that it's correct. If it's both correct, then definitely that is the answer. So it says that C, okay, it makes its own food and does not bear flowers. So bird nest fern is green in color. Okay, you know that it's able to make its own food, but it does not reproduce by flower. It reproduces by spores. So correct. And D is bears flower. So that's your rose. So because of that, straight away you know that this is your answer. Confirm 100% check. And that is how you actually use elimination method. Very clear, very simple, very fast. Who doesn't know how to use this method? All can?
Yes.
Very good. Next. Question 13. Yes. So same thing. Whatever I did. Okay. So I look at option number 1. First column, A column. Rubber boots. Let's see. Now, where's A? A is over here. So it says that it is flexible. So is rubber boot flexible? Yes. Is it waterproof? Is rubber boots waterproof? Yes. So I know that this is correct. Correct. Next thing. Is your metal nail flexible?
No.
No, but A is supposed to be flexible, right? So straight away wrong. Is your glass window flexible?
No.
So straight away I crossed out option 3 and option 4. Very straightforward. Leaving me only 2 options. Continue. Now I look at option 1, column B. Now they tell me that B is not flexible and it breaks. Now, does your metal nail break? No. Okay, so that leaves me with option 2. Check. So your glass window is not flexible, correct?
I can break.
Okay, but it can break. So B is correct. Check. C, they tell you it does not break, and that's a metal nail. Check. So answer number 2. And that is how you use your elimination method. Okay? Next. Okay. Iqbal came out across a riddle about an animal as shown. Which of the following best fits the animal described? So once again, this is looking at the characteristics. Now, I have 4 stages in my life cycle. I lay eggs in water. Straight away, the only one that lay eggs in water that you are familiar with is mosquito. Okay? Alright, but at the same time, you also want to make sure that the rest is true. So mosquito feed on the blood, yes. I can only fly when I'm an adult, yes. You know that the young of a mosquito, which is the nymph, it doesn't. Oh, sorry, larva. Yeah, you're right. The larva doesn't fly. Okay, it swims in the water, so that's correct. My young does not look like me. So answer mosquito. All right. So let's see. Let's do a bit of quick revision. Grasshopper, how many stages? Cockroach, how many stages? Mosquito, how many stages?
4.
Butterfly, how many stages? 4. Okay?
The only one is mosquito.
Next. Alright, the diagram below show the stages in the life cycles of animal A and B. Which animals could animal A and B be? Okay, once again, use the elimination method. Let's go. Option 1, column A. It tells you that it's a cockroach. How many stages does a cockroach have? 3. Very good. It has a nymph, it has an egg, it has an adult. So correct. What about grasshopper? How many stages? 3. It has egg, nymph, and adult. Beetle, how many stages? 4. Okay, beetle has 4 stages. Okay, it has a additional pupa stage and a larva stage. So therefore, beetle is wrong. Straight away we eliminate. Mosquito, how many stages? 4. Animal A, how many stages? 3. So therefore, wrong. Straight away cross out. So this leaves me with only 2 options. Now, animal B has 4 options. Oh, sorry, 4 stages. Animal, egg, larva, and pupa. Okay. How many stages does your butterfly have? 1. Who keep telling me 1? Aiden and Ethan, you all go home and you go and study your P3 topic for me. 1. So egg all the way or butterfly all the way, adult all the way, you tell me? Very funny with me. Okay, it's not a misconception. I'm very certain that the both of you, given your scientific abilities, right, I mark your work, you for sure will not mix up that your butterfly has 1 stage only. That's impossible. I don't think it's funny. Eyes on screen. Butterfly is 4. So this is correct. Cockroach is how many? 3. So straight around it does not match. So therefore your answer is 1. And that is how you use the elimination method. Next. Now, study the classification chart below. Okay, which of the following represents A, B, C, and D? Now, whenever you have a chart that's like that, and it's a split. Okay, now at the same level, they are opposite. So A should be a heading, Ethan, Mark. You will do well to stop talking and engaging in your frivolous conversation with Aiden. Now, when they are at the same level, can you see they are at the same level here? These two is actually sort of like a pair, so they are opposite. For example, wear glasses, don't wear the glasses. Warm-blooded, cold-blooded. Okay? Is able to see in the dark, is not able to see in the dark. You see, they are opposite. This is what it should be. Similarly, these two should also be opposite. Okay? So let's take a look. Now, let's check. They told you that A is definite shape. So B must be what? No definite shape. You understand or not? That's how it works. So straight off the top, okay, you know that number 1 is wrong already. Okay? Because these two, A and B, is not talking about the same thing. It's talking about a different thing. One is talking about shape, the other is talking about volume. So you can cancel that out already. Okay? Number 2, A is talking about no definite shape. B is talking about no definite volume. That's wrong also. Straight away cancel out already. Then you look at 3 and 4. A is talking about no definite shape. B is talking about definite shape. Okay, at least they are opposite. Alright? And then after that, you continue to check. Okay? Under A, you have C, you have oil and air. Oil and air, they both do not have a definite shape. So does it fit the description of A for option 3? Yes. Okay? Now, let's check option A for, option 4, column A. It says here that no definite volume. Now, oil and air, both of them, are they both not having a definite volume? That's not true, right? Oil, which is a liquid, has a definite volume. So therefore, it's wrong. You can rule this out. So let's check for number 3 to make sure everything is correct. So B, they say definite shape. Wooden ruler it's a solid, it has definite shape, so that's correct. C, oil has a definite volume, very good. D, no definite volume, that's your air which can be compressed. And moreover, they are a pair. Can you see? They are both talking about volume, just that one says has volume, one says no volume, no definite volume. Okay, and the other one is also a pair. So this is something that I want you to take note of. Okay, they should be talking about the same thing when they are at the same level for a flow chart like this. Am I clear?
Yes.
Okay. Alright, last question for today. Now, when Jack placed a dry sponge into a container of water and squeezed it, he observed that bubbles were coming out of the sponge. Okay, so these bubbles are basically the air that is inside your sponge. So when you go in, you squeeze, you are forcing the air, alright, out from your sponge. Okay, now which of the statements correctly explain why the bubbles appear? So, number 3, air that was trapped in the sponge escaped. This is something that's very straightforward.
Yes.
Alright? Question 20. Study the human digestive system below. Which of the following correctly identifies organ E and its function? So for digestive system, right, you must go and memorize, okay, the identity and the function of all the organs in your digestive system. There is no way about it. Okay, so they are actually pointing to the small intestines. So once again, you should do the elimination method like how I always tell you to. Straight off, you know that this is wrong and this is wrong. Cancel out. Don't even bother to look at this thing. Next, what is the function? Small intestine digest food completely. Yes, that's the answer. Now check for number 4 to make sure that it's not correct. So yes, remove water. This is the function of your large intestines. Now be very careful. In actual fact, it's not remove water, it's remove excess water. If you remove water, then your body will completely dry. There's not an ounce of water left in you. Okay? Now, the diagram shows a magnet brought near a plastic block. What will happen to the plastic block? Answer would be, it will not move. Number 2. So this is actually testing you on characteristics of a magnet. Now, yes. Anna stroke 2 similar iron rods, X and Y with the same magnet as shown. So when you talk about the stroking method, it's very important to note that you need a magnetic material in order for it to work. Okay? Without this, it cannot happen. Now, as shown in the diagram below, so one stroke 30 times, one stroke 60 times. So obviously, which is the stronger one? 60. Okay? So you need to remember that, you know, with the stroking method, the higher the number of strokes, the stronger the magnet. So what is the likely number of pins that walk Y? So this is actually times 2, right? Because 60 strokes is actually 2 times of 30 strokes. So 6 times 2, answer is 12. Answer 4. Okay? Next. Now, a compass has a small magnet that can rotate freely as shown. The 3 magnet bars are arranged in such a way that they're attracted to one another. This is very, very important. A compass is then placed one end and the direction of the compass needle as shown below. What will be the direction of the needle? Now, the one that is shaded in black is usually your north. So the other one must be your south. Okay? So as you can see, the south is facing the north. Then this is the South Pole, North Pole, South Pole, North Pole, South Pole. This must be the North Pole that is facing. So this is the shaded one. So answer will look at is 1. Alright, make sure you look through the rest, okay, to make sure it's not correct. Now, question 24. The experiments were conducted to find out the property of the materials of bars A, B, C, D, E, F. The bars were hung from strings and brought near to each other. These were the observations that were shown. Now, this is a question that you need to be careful. Very, very careful. Why? Doesn't mean that they attract the bar. Did they say bar or did they say magnet? They say bar or they say magnet? Bar. So a lot of students, when they see this straight away, yeah, must be all magnet. That's wrong. You need to be very careful. The bars could be magnet or they could actually be just normal magnetic material. Okay, so you need to be careful. So for example, if you take a look at this, now, note only magnets can repel. That is something that we need to understand. Magnetic material, a magnet can attract a magnetic material. Okay, it can also attract a magnet with the unlike pole facing it, but it can never repel, all right, something that is actually non-magnetic. So the only way that you can repel another object is that if that object is also a magnet. So straight off the back that I know that these two they are magnets because they repel. Alright, but I'm not so sure about C and D, you know, this thing over here. I'm not too sure about it. Because yes, A and B might have attracted this, but it didn't show me that C and D got repelled in any way. It could be a magnetic material. Okay, so based on that above experiment, what can you conclude? A and B is definitely a magnet, yes. Because why? I told you that only magnets can repel, or rather two magnets can repel. So if this is a magnet, this must be a magnet in order to repel. But we must check for the other three. Why? Because I told you, every MCQ question is worth 2 marks. You better put in the effort. C and D is definitely magnet, no, wrong. Because why? Like I told you, it can also be a magnetic material. Okay? For example, it could be a bar made out of nickel or cobalt. You don't know. Alright? AB is made out of non-magnetic material, A and B. Not possible. Why? Because you already determined that it's able to repel. Okay, so it must be magnet. Bar EF is made out of non-magnetic material. Cannot be also. Because in order to be attracted to A and B, which you already know that is a magnet, okay, your EF here, right, must either be a magnet or magnetic material, one of it. Now, if it's a magnet, then for sure it is also made up of magnetic material, correct enough? So in that case, that leaves you with one for sure, and that's how you do your elimination. Okay, for this type of question, be very careful. Next, 25. Bob placed an ice block and a few ice cubes onto dish P and Q in the kitchen. The ice block and ice cubes were made from equal amounts of water. On which dish would the ice melt completely first, and what is likely the reason? So you should know that these two, the volume is the same. I repeat, volume is the same. Now why is it that I know it's the same? Because they made from equal amount of water. Now what is different is that the exposed surface area. Yes, the one in dish Q has a larger exposed surface area. So the answer would be Q, number 4. Yes, well think about it. When you actually want to dry like a wet towel, do you crumple up the wet towel and just put it under the sun, or do you spread it out? The volume is the same, but the exposed area is different. And this has got to do with gaining of heat. So remember, larger surface area to actually gain heat faster. And on this note, I want to stress, underline and underscore, highlight, underline, there is no such thing as losing coldness. Huh? When I was marking your paper on about, you know, this question about how to defrost meat, some of you went, select the metal tray, because then after that coldness can be lost to the environment at a faster rate. I nearly puked. I puked so much blood, then I died. Okay? Yeah, you're horrible. Okay, next. Beth poured some hot tea into the flask and placed it in the basin of cold water as shown in the diagram. The cells are placed in a room temperature of 28 degrees. Now, first thing first, when you talk about this kind of question, right, they are testing on the concept of how heat travels. So heat always travels from a region of hotter region, higher temperature to lower temperature. So I know that my room temperature is 28 degrees Celsius. Okay, they tell you that there's some hot tea already. Okay, I'm going to assume that hot tea, I usually have my tea at about 80 degrees Celsius. Okay, and then after that, cold water, okay, must be about maybe, I don't know, 10 degrees Celsius. Alright, she then plotted to a graph to show the temperature of hot tea and cold water over the period of time. Which of the graph below shows the correct changes in temperature of hot tea and cold water after some time? So what happens is that, okay, let me tell grandmother's story already. So between the water, the hot tea and the cold water, the hot tea has a much higher temperature. So heat will always travel from a region of higher temperature over here to a region of lower temperature. So what will happen is the temperature of your hot tea should go up or down. Go down, because your hot tea is losing heat, and your cold water should go up or down temperature. Up. Okay, because it's gaining heat from your hot tea. Okay, so what happens is hot tea is solid dotted line, cold tea is dotted line. So in this case, what will happen is over time, your hot tea should lose heat. Is it losing heat? Yes. And then your cold water should gain heat. Oh, but wait, this is not correct. Why? Yes, it has exceeded the hot tea's temperature over here already. You're telling me now what has happened is that your hot tea can generate heat. Okay, so answer, well done. Okay, so answer number 3, why? Because they should meet at a center point. Okay, and then what should actually happen is they should go straight eventually. Okay, so remember we always say that it will lose and gain heat until they reach an equilibrium. Okay, next. Now the setup below shows light shining on a wooden ball. Which of the following would be likely seen in the screen? So this is actually opaque, right? So because it is opaque, okay, when the light rays shine, all these lights here will be blocked, but whatever that is at the side of the ball can reach. So you should see a very big round thing here. Okay, so answer would be number 4. Okay, next. This is the infamous question. You better know how to do this. Li Min set out an experiment as shown below. He placed a torch lit at the 0 cm mark, a solid cube at the 3 cm mark, okay, and then after that a screen at the 8 cm mark. A shadow was formed on the screen. Study the table below. Which of the following arrangement would result in a larger shadow? Now, there is 2 ways of doing this. One way is you memorize by heart. Okay, one way is to memorize by heart. Now, if you memorize by heart, okay, you need to understand this. Okay, so I'm going to show you. Quiet, please. Let me talk. Now, so what happened is, we're going to actually have an item here, a torch. And then after that, we have an object represented by blue color. It's going to be 2 cm. I'm going to put it as 2 square height. And then I have a screen. Shh, can you quiet, please? Thank you. This is my screen. Now, note that there is a distance from here to here, to my object. And I'm going to call this D1. And there is another distance that I'm going to use red color to denote, and this is D2. Now, by adjusting these 2 distances, right, you actually can affect the shadow that is formed on the screen. So what do I mean by that? Now, you need to understand the first thing is that when D1 gets smaller, so you decrease D1, okay? So let's just say as D1 decreases, the shadow height increases. Now, if you have an excellent memory, you can do this. Okay? Alright, so that means this thing becomes smaller now. Can you see my new D1 is, sorry, my new D1 looks like this. Okay, it's shorter. So how do I get a smaller D1? I either shift the object closer to the light source, or I shift the light source closer to the object. Okay? So the opposite must be true. So as D1 increases, the shadow height would decrease. Let's test it out. Now, what do I mean by test it out? So I'm going to draw the exact same thing at the bottom here. Okay. Now, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here. And then after that, I have my screen here. So what you notice is that, okay, in exam, you can actually take a ruler and do this. So you start from your red color light source. Red color is light source. You draw a straight line touching your object. Now, what you do is, if you bring your object closer, see, now I have a new position. It is closer now. I use back the same thing. What happens? So you will realize that this is your first shadow. This is the height of shadow 1. This is the height of shadow 2. So can you see, as I bring my object closer, my shadow height increased. Okay, can you see that? So therefore, the opposite is also true. Now I'm shifting between my object. I didn't shift my torchlight at all. The same thing can also be applied for your screen. What do I mean by that? So for example, if let's just say I start off with this. Now I say I want to shift screen. Now, from my memory, I know that as my screen moves closer to the object, alright, it will become smaller. Why? So my object and my light never move, only my screen move. Take a look at this. So this is the initial height of my first shadow. Okay, when I move my screen nearer to my object over here, look at the height now is here. Can you see the height of my shadow? This is the second shadow, and if I move it even closer, it becomes smaller as the screen goes closer to the object. Okay, that is one way you can figure this out in exam. Now be very careful. Attention, 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 s'il vous plaît, tout le monde. Now, if let's just say in exam, they can trick you by saying that certain things cannot be moved. How do you make the shadow bigger? You need to be very careful. Yeah, like the teddy bear. No, it's like the heart shape. Yeah, try to make the shape of the teddy bear and the ball. Okay, in that example. Okay. The heart shape.
Is the square and the heart.
Oh, okay. Sorry, square and the heart. Okay.
It's a ball.
Okay, it doesn't matter ball or square. Okay, but the whole idea about it is that they fix the screen. The screen cannot be moved. Okay, or they fix the light. They say light cannot be moved. Only the object can move. So read your question very carefully. So looking at it. Okay, they say which arrangement would result in a bigger shadow form. So what happened is that when you move your lit torch closer to the solid cube here, the first one, A. Okay, this is A. Okay, your screen is 8. Oh, sorry. Okay, which of all result in a bigger shadow form? Answer is B and C.
No, A. Oh my god. It's A.
Wait, hold on, let me see. 3 and your screen is 8. Okay, correct. Sorry, my apologies. Yes, Because you're moving your torchlight nearer. Okay? You're moving your torchlight nearer, so A is correct. B, let me see, your solid cube is at 5. No, you will not result in a bigger shadow because even though you move your torchlight this way, you're also moving your cube further away. Okay? C, it remains at 0. Your solid cube is at 3. No change, right? D, your lit torch is at 0. Your solid cube move further away. So answer should be smaller, what, isn't it? Correct? Okay, wait, further away. So this is definitely wrong. A is definitely correct. C, let me see. Oh, your screen, oh, because they moved the screen further away. Okay, my apologies. Okay, so when you move your screen further away, you get a bigger shadow also. So answer is A and C. Answer number 2. Okay? Alright. Okay? And that's